no love. Check this out, y'all. You tuning in live to Heart of the City. It's your boy Breezy. We got my man Eddie B. We got the homie Vash T in the building, y'all.
Hey, you guys.
Tonight is going to be another important show, another knowledgeable show. We're going to talk about not just the kids, but we got a guest. She's actually a 6th grade teacher. Get it right. We got a special guest, and she's just going to touch on a few topics as far as some information that we don't actually know as just people in general with the school systems and the kids. And we got some special topics we're going to touch on tonight. So
stay here because we got the Dank and Paint show right afterwards.
Yes.
With my man Wiley. Shout out to Sonny.
And Jacob.
Shout
out to Jacob,
the best
our engineer.
The best engineer
in the game.
In the world. Shout out to my man Jacob.
Yes.
And shout out to Sam.
Sam.
Miss Howard. She'll be here in a minute. She'll be up here in a minute. So
yes, Sam.
We appreciate y'all tuning in. What's good with everybody? What's good with y'all? We back for another week.
Yes.
Talking shit.
Yes.
Swallowing spit.
Yes.
My girl Vash.
Yes.
Got 3 shows. She working 4 really. Yeah, give it up for Vash, man. She
Yay!
Southeast finest,
Hello,
man.
Right up.
Southeast.
Straight out the trap. Fresh out the trap.
Trashy mouth Vash.
Better than the Southeast, honey. Yes.
Y'all know.
Yes, excuse me.
Oh,
hello.
I gotta plug my man in one time. What's your name? Hustle
That's
Trees.
my man Corey.
My man Corey gave us
look at Corey.
Corey Neal, man.
Sick of weeds for the night.
Corey,
I don't
check him
do no
out, man.
nicotine.
Corey,
It's weed in
bust
here.
my lungs open the last time.
My man Corey, man, he got some of the best product that I
Corey,
done tasted. I call the man every weekend. Man, what you got? Because I know he gonna give me something different. So shout out to my man Corey Neal with Corey Farms. Real deal farm.
There you go. With it right there. There you go. Right there. He done blew my lungs out. The last time I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, he got some impact. That's
that real shit. You lied if you ain't smoked it till you smoke this.
Yeah, yes indeed. Whatever he got in there, man, it works. it works.
Straight up.
Very well. Very well. But what's good with everybody?
Everything good, man. Yeah. You just gotta. We still ain't get a lid on these missing children yet, which is insane, absurd to me. This is what, about 3-4 weeks now. At least 3-4 weeks now. We still haven't got a lid on the situation. So once again, man, we need to come together as a community, put these flyers up, put these posters up, man, with these kids. Like, they're our future. So if we can't find them, where we gonna be at in the next 20, 30 years? And I think a lot of people, they don't really think that far ahead, but time flies, like the song I was listening to earlier. And we need to get in tune, y'all, because if not, then with this foolish guy as the president, it's just the numbers don't add up. So community, we're reaching out, man. We need each other.
I mean, I can kind of I can say that too, but I've been talking to a lot of people. I went to a group and spoke with a couple of people in my neighborhood. Wiley, hey Wiley. I spoke with a couple of people in my neighborhood or whatever about the situation with the human trafficking and the missing kids and stuff. And I think I'm mixed with it because it's like, how could we find the kids and they're right next door, but our parents don't know because the person next door didn't tell you that your child was over there because they know her as little Nikki instead of Nicole, whatever. So kids are missing, but I think a lot of kids are, not to say that, the kids are running away, but I heard a lot of stories, in the same amount of weeks that a lot of the girls and boys have been just running away from home or running away from wherever they're staying. So my question is, where is the disconnect? Why are the kids feeling like this? Or, where does it come from?
Yeah, that's an interesting point.
I would say the influence, all right, and this might be cliche, but a lot of the disconnect comes from the influential rap music The music in general, the music, the videos, the things,
But
the
what
movies.
about the ones who doesn't listen to rap music? Because I have a 12-year-old who's not into, he's not in the streets. He's not into music. I mean, he's not into rap music.
Not yet.
He likes Barry Gordy and shit. He likes classical music.
Barry Manilow.
Whoever, Barry Manilow, people like that. He likes people like that. So, and he's 12. And coming from the environment that he lives in, you would think that he would be gangbanging or slanging or in the process. So what about the kids that's in this same situation that's not exposed to the rap music or what's going on the outside? A child that's just don't want to be home. How about those kids who just don't want to be home, who just don't want to follow the rules and wants to leave? You can't really say the music because everyone's not into music. Everyone's not into music.
The thing that scares me with the whole situation is for whatever reason they choose to leave home. We can't contest to that, but it's how long they stay missing. Like you got kids that's been missing for months and years now, and it's like now the anxiety kicks in. Like, okay, if you were unhappy at home, like somebody could at least call me and said something by now. You know what I'm saying? So I think like that's my concern with how long they stay missing. We can have a runaway gone for a week and then decide to show up, or somebody call and say I let them stay with me for a while, but it starts to kind of have you wondering, this girl been gone for goddamn over a year. Where is she? What happened to Rilla Sherrod? Like, we don't even hear it.
Yeah,
whole thing is done
I just think that it is about how long they leave or how long that they're gone, but it just probably depends on the situation. Some kids like to go out for a whole month because that's what they get used to, and that's what they like, the lifestyle that they live in. But then you have one that just left home because it was a uncomfortable situation, so they might leave for a couple of hours or a day. It's just I think it really depends on the situation or the whatever's going on that you decide how long you want to be gone. If you mad about you didn't want to wash the dishes and fuck the trash, then you might leave for the day or a couple of hours. Or if you missing because you might have been getting touched or molested or been raped or in an uncomfortable sexual situation or verbally or emotionally or spiritually abused, then you leave for 6 months. I think it really depends on the situation. And with these kids that's coming across our social medias or whatever that we're seeing these kids in, it's just, you got to hear the actual story to say, okay, well, maybe she did leave. I would have left too. Or, maybe he did leave. God damn it. He wasn't eating. His mama had 7 kids. He had to eat. So it ain't that he ran away. He had to go out and make him some money. He might leave for the rest of his life.
Good point. You got anything on it?
But if it ain't the music, it's the community, man.
Yeah.
I definitely believe that. I believe that.
It's the community, man. It's the neighbors. It's the kids they're around.
The influence.
Well, and then that eventually spills over into the parents who's leading their children to influence the other children who's maybe not on that tip. So again, it starts with the community, the parents. We need to change our views and change our ways on how we raising our children. Basically.
But you know what? From when we was coming up to now, you got way more government influence on the way people can parent. So it makes it kind of difficult.
Right.
All right, for example, not to cut you off, but we had this topic at the shop, right? It was a joke, but it's really the truth. It's sad. It's the truth. Like, you got some young mothers in these broken down communities in these Section 8 homes, but they having these daughters at the age of 15, 16 years old, 14 years old, and so by the time they 30, their child is 15. And, I'm not gonna say any names, but it's a situation that hurt my heart because it was a young mother that I grew up with, and has a teen daughter, but she's letting her teen daughter, who sells a little bit of weed in the neighborhood, come to the house and smoke weed with her, and the little boy spending the night at the house. You all the way wrong.
I mean,
All the way wrong. In the red.
Hold on, let me
But
say
she's
this.
on. She's my age. She's 31 years old.
Yeah.
But she had a baby when we was in the 9th grade.
And she grew up with her baby,
Yeah.
and that's what happens, you know. And I grew up with my kids, and I'm totally different. But I don't think that you know, where you live or where you come from is a difference, because you have children that's in the suburbs that get abortions at 10. You know, shit that's swept under the rug. You know, I went to an alternative school in Bowie, you know, and I was around, you know, amongst a lot of, you know, very privileged kids. You know, they came to school set, and they had more drug problems, more home problems, more, you know, shit that you would think that we would be going through because we didn't have as much, and they had more problems. So I think it's, you know, I think the environment comes from not even from the outside. I think the environment is the inside of the home. You know, regardless if you live in Southeast or you live in Beverly Hills, the environment comes from your inside.
Now,
your
I do agree with you on that, because growing up, it was only hood outside of my house.
Exactly.
Outside of my house.
Exactly, because
It was
John wasn't
hood,
having
yeah,
it, honey.
It was hood outside, but when we came in,
John.
it was a whole different type of structure.
Yes.
So you know what I'm saying. So I can definitely agree with that, and I also agree with that being fucked up is universal. You know what I'm saying. Whether you black, white, rich, poor, we all got some type of dysfunction, especially when it comes.
And can I say one more thing real quick?
What?
Just to say, I just want to say something real quick. Even when, you know, like the girl that might be 30 and her daughter's 15, 16, you know, I think sometimes when you get put in a certain situation, you know, you raise your kids according to your situation. You know what I'm saying? So she might have been 15 as a mother and literally had to grow up with her child. You know what I'm saying? And so when her daughter comes over that sells weed or smoke weed with her, it's the norm.
No, her daughter boyfriend.
Oh, the boyfriend with him too. It's the
The
norm.
what?
It's the norm.
That ain't norm.
You know, I'm just
It's the
saying.
norm, but it's not normal. It
Yeah,
shouldn't
it's
be
the
normal.
norm, but
There
it's
you
not
go.
normal.
Yeah, it shouldn't be normal.
Right,
Not
but my thing to say that is you have to also understand that people's situations are different. You know, she had her son or her daughter when she was 13, 14, 15. You know, she grew up with her child. So that makes you do things that you a person at I'm not the same person at 32 than what I was when I got pregnant at 19. You know, I look at shit differently. You know, so yeah, you might have the person that sits and smoke with their kid at 19. If I was 19 and my son was 5, you know what I'm saying? He might have had his ears pierced, gold chains, walking with a swag. You know what I'm saying? But I just knew a little bit better and wanted a little bit more or thought a little bit differently, and I didn't raise my son like that.
Well, my thing
Or my daughter like that.
My thing is, then we can't break the cycle, because
You have to break the cycle, come out of your own home, your own family. It's a family cycle that you got to break.
Yeah, basically, and I'm gonna play devil's advocate for both of you, because I hear what both of y'all saying. I think what he's saying is having kids at a certain age, you're not basically mature enough to parent. But what you're saying is, it doesn't really necessarily matter how old you are. It's just how mature you are mentally.
Yes.
So I'm agreeing with both sides, because I've known some young women that had babies 9th, 10th grade, and they totally accelerated in life. They made that their motivation. While I've known some others to have kids at a young age, and it became a crippler for them. So it's definitely all based on what's your motivation. You understand what I'm saying? So I agree with both sides. I'm hearing both of y'all arguments. What you're saying is not necessarily wrong, but what she was referring to as, it's the norm. As far as like, this is just what happens. This is just what it is.
Right.
But what you're saying is that shouldn't be normal.
Hell no.
Right.
It shouldn't be normal, because
It
I
happens.
know a lot of
It's
situations
happening.
where, you know what I'm saying, it's like, all right, I had my baby early, nothing became of my life, and they don't push hard enough for their kids to excel.
Right.
So that's the continuous
Like
cycle.
in my household, I mean, well, I'm from a third world country, so it's like in my household.
Shout out to Africa.
Yeah, it wasn't
Africa, yes, they got some fine men over there.
I'd be goddamn it if my mother let my sister boyfriend in the house. Like my mother wouldn't even have to do nothing. I got it.
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
My little sister
He
couldn't
wouldn't
have
even
nobody.
make it to the
My
doorstep
brothers
though.
would have killed
That's
me.
the crazy thing about it. So, what's up? What,
I'd have
like,
been dead.
It ain't
Kill
the
him dead,
normal.
Bash. Kill him dead.
They couldn't
It
even
ain't
yell.
the normal, cuz.
A motherfucker couldn't even say my little sister's name.
Stop
You know
it.
what I'm saying?
Stop it.
Hey,
Stop it.
Look here,
Stop
we're going
it.
to take a
Stop
quick
it.
break, y'all. And when we come back, we got a special guest, Miss Sam Howard.
Hey, Sam. Yes.
She's going to be up here. She's going to enlighten us on restorative justice, which is a conflict resolution agency that works with inner
Say it
city
again.
kids.
Say it again one more time.
Restorative justice.
Restorative justice.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
So that means Sam is important.
She's very
They
important.
need to tune in.
Yes, indeed. Come on back. We be right back, y'all.
Right on.
1 second.
Shout out to Rob.
I have you guys give me a lot of hope and stuff like that. Our advisory is like a family. I've been through police brutality, tragedies and stuff like that. And instead of me being depressed about life, I know I can come in and talk to my community. They understand. And most of the time, if it's something I'm going through, they've probably already been through it before.
People act like they shy and stuff like that, you know, and like the icebreaker looses and, you know, everybody up, you know, we all get in a good mood and then we're ready to talk.
The wind comes and blows if you live in Oak.
The wind comes and takes anyone whose shirt is black.
The wind comes and takes anyone that likes to play basketball.
Anybody who has headphones.
Anybody that lives in East Oakland.
If you're wearing shorts.
The wind comes and
Blows if
you have on a pink shirt. I picked this talking piece. This show is hard, and we're a strong community.
It's kind of like step up, step back, because, you know, I am stepping up by, you know, putting myself out there and being a facilitator. But I'm also like stepping back.
It's Sam, y'all.
Hey, everyone. Now we're back with Heart of the City Radio with me, Miss Vash, my boy, the Nobody Ed. And we have our guest, Sam, right here.
Right
and we
on.
got Aubrey,
Hello.
Big Breeze down at the end, you guys.
Right
so,
on.
What are we talking about? What's up, Sam? What's going on? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so, well, with the sixth graders.
The sixth graders. Ow.
I really wanted to, it was a couple shows ago when you were talking about community and like you were talking about how your home is always open to kids and
Yes.
like anything, and I was like, oh, that's restorative justice.
Mm-hmm.
So restorative justice is really a new theory of justice. So the old theory of justice, the one that our country currently operates on, is asking the questions like, what was done wrong? Like
Right.
what law was broken? What consequence can we give them? And that's pretty much it. So it's like, what are the consequences we can give them? And restorative justice asks the questions like, who was harmed, and like, why did that person do that harm? Like, where were they coming from? Like, what do they need? So it's about like, it's basically the mindset like, if somebody's committing a crime, they're missing something. Like, they need a resource, or like there's something missing there, like depending on the situation.
So basically what I'm taking from this, instead of just saying that, you know, kid goes out, robs a liquor store, that he's a criminal, this is saying that what's wrong? What was he missing? Why did he rob it? Was he
Yeah, so,
hungry?
like,
Did he come from was he abused? Did he come from a broken home? So it's more of an evaluation of the actual kid
Person.
instead of the situation.
Yeah, so the way it's used, it's actually just starting to be used in schools. So there's only about 5 schools in DC. So it's instead of like, oh, you were late or you skipped school, you get detention, you get suspended, this or that. It's like, okay, how can we work with you? Like, what's
Right.
going on? Why are you late? Like, oh, like I have to help bring my brothers and sisters. I have to bring them to school in the morning. I have this, and that going on. So it's like having those conversations with students. That's how we use it in schools. But like, I'm trying to think of examples in like the justice system. So it'll be like, what type of instead of a punishment, like what type of resources does that person need,
Right.
that we can get them into the community. Like if somebody's stealing or something, like whoa, maybe they need something. Maybe like that area of the community is lacking like job resources. Like, so it's like it's taking this different mindset, like how can we become closer as a community and work together. And I know that's always a constant theme in this show, and it's like working together, being a community. And it's also like the theory that the more we know each other, the closer we are, the less likely we are to commit crimes against each other.
Yes.
You know, like the less likely we are to fight with each other. So, I could go on.
Okay.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I
Nobody
just wanted
stop
to,
it.
also it's like with students, if they get in a fight, if we just like give them ISS, in school suspension, we're not teaching them conflict resolution skills. You know, we're not teaching them how to resolve those problems with their peers, and then they grow up and they were like, well, I always fought, and then in some cases they don't realize they'll get arrested. Like, you know, it's like when you're older, you're not in school anymore. Like, there's real consequences with the law. So we have to start teaching students at a young age, like, oh, we're gonna have a sit-down conversation, like you and Susie were arguing, like, why did you fight? Oh, it's because I misinterpreted the way you said this to me. I thought you were kidding, and then it escalated, and that's how most of the fights start with students.
Right. So is this going to be a initiative that they're going to do in school systems throughout, or just a selective set of schools?
Yeah. So I think right now every school in the country really ideally would be using this system. It just takes a lot of hands. Like, they need more hands on deck because they need like mediators. Actually, the clip that was shown just before I came on, I want to explain that a little bit. It was
Can we run that back? Can we run some of that clip again? Yeah, go ahead.
Introduce it a little bit more first.
Do so.
So this all started with in Oakland, California. This high school that started restorative justice circles, which is like sit-down conversation with students that have like similar issues that they're facing, and it's like a place where they can talk about it and debrief and like come together as a community and be like, oh, this is what I did when I was in your situation, and they're like, oh, we're facing the same problems. So that was the clip that was shown. Maybe you can show some more of it.
They come in, they're giggling, they're laughing. And there's just like a lot of kind of like giddy, intense energy.
Coming from what?
And then the circle and their relationships with each other actually kind of like quiet something in them and allow them to be more present for each other.
When we do circles here, before we do the circles, we sit down and like plan the opening ceremony. It lit. My great hope is to laugh as much as I cry, to get my work done and try to love someone. And I have enough courage to accept the love in return. Maya Angelou. And in high school especially, like, we don't have enough.
So what you just saw, can you now explain a little bit more, like what we just saw in the video? That's the initial program. Was that in Oakland? Where we just saw?
That was in Oakland, California. So they have they had the first functioning restorative justice program. It's extremely successful. So the amount of restitution rate, the restitution rate means like the rate at which students are gonna recommit like offenses like in the school, like after they get in trouble, like the likelihood of them to like do that same thing again and keep getting into trouble, getting in fights or whatnot, like folded in half. So they taught students, they had these restorative circles, which is what the video was just showing, where students could come and talk about what's going on and share stories about how they solved problems or like how their day is going, just like anything to build community. And they saw the rates at which students were getting in trouble just like skyrocketed downwards.
Wow.
So it's really incredible and it's extremely effective. And it started there in California, and that's basically the model that the schools that are trying to integrate it right now are working off of.
Okay, and you say you need more hands on deck, meaning that you need more participation from who? Who needs to get more into this so to make this whole thing is a total success?
Well, I'm trying to. I think for schools, they need extra staff members because like I know that some schools they can train their staff to do it, and they can train their staff to like have these mediation sessions, but it can be a lot of extra work. Like, you know, like a teacher is trying to like hold a classroom, and if there's a fight going on, they want to step aside and have that mediation session with the students. But if the dean is handling something else, you know, there has to be enough people. Like in Oakland, they have a whole extra staff, like restorative staff. Like they have people, assistants, like this woman that came to do the circles. They have other people doing circles. It's almost like extra deans, basically. That's really what's needed, and then plus the training at schools.
Now, could that be possible with so many federal cuts in like education? Because, you know, they take a chunk out of education before they take a chunk out of anything else, which is baffling to me. Like I seen NASA was only, they released the report for, where they're going to make federal budget cuts. The military was excluded, of course. NASA was only going to receive like up to a 2% budget cut, while education was going to take some shit like 15 to 20%. Like, right, the thing we need, no, man, fuck a space shuttle. I mean, what about, let's get some money pumped back into the school system.
Because it's the roots.
So, right,
it's the roots of
right.
everything.
To send somebody to the moon.
Yeah.
I'm saying? So
we're trying to get you there.
Right, so.
Gotta start somewhere.
With that cry, how can we get that type of participation if you're not going to get funded? How will that? That's my question to you. How can we get this off the ground if the government is not going to cooperate?
Yeah, so I think schools that are really passionate and excited about it, schools that that really want to start using restorative justice are just doing it organically. They're like training the teachers. They're having the teachers do it, the staff that they currently have, which works. And for some school, it depends on the school. It depends on the need of the school, you know.
Well, I want to ask this, being a parent, I have a 6th grader. Yay! Ooh. I have a 6th grader.
Shout out to 6th graders.
I have a 6th grader, and I want to know, what do you think about what do you think if the parents were more active in the school? Because I think after a certain grade, you be kind of like, okay, my child is big now. I'm not about to be doing all of that. I'm only going to the awards assembly. I'm not doing PTA, PTO. I'm not doing none of that. Do you think that the parents, when they get a little bit older, that we fail in partaking in a lot of, activities in the school system that can help the kids, instead of coming up there when they not doing good or, something like that? Do you think us as parents, did we lose or we're failing in trying to participate in our children's, education at that point?
So I think that's certainly an issue. It's funny because I think 6th grade is that grade where, in middle school, just in general, is that grade where parents start to like loosen the reins a little bit. And so that's definitely a part of the training. The restorative justice training is like getting parents involved, because that's the theory. Like the stronger the community is, the greater we can get along and be successful. That's really that's all it is. And so teachers are trained to call parents when there's an issue, but also when there's something really good going on.
Yes.
Because you know, it depends on the parents, but you know, sometimes if you're only getting calls when your kid's doing something wrong, it's like, okay, well, this teacher is calling me again. Like,
Right.
are they, like, I need to know, I don't know, it just all works better. It's like, hey, I just want to let you know that Johnny, like, has passed in his homework every single day this week. Like, that's a huge step from last week and previous weeks where he's done a few. And so it helps because, like, when students hear, like, then the student goes home and the parent says, wow, like, I'm so proud of you.
Right.
And that's the momentum
Right.
that keeps everything going. So I think
Go ahead.
between parents, like, it's hard, though, because, you know, some parents are working, like, several jobs. I know that I was just reflecting about, like, when I started high school, when I started middle school, my mom picked up some extra jobs and couldn't always be around. And so I think that's where the restorative circles
Right.
really work well, is because some students, the only adult eyes that they have is when they're at school. So the parents that can be part of it, awesome, definitely. Hands on deck, more hands on deck is always great. But I also respect the parents that can't because they have to work.
Right.
And that's where the phone calls can be helpful as well, because it's like, I can't
can
be
still
home.
be in touch.
Let me know. Yeah, keep me in touch. Like,
And you know something, Sam, that you just said, when you like the only adult eyes are sometimes at the school. And I think a lot of people, not a lot of people, with you being a teacher, I appreciate that you said that. Because I don't think that a lot of teachers look at it that way. You know, I think that they just think that some kids might be bad or some kids, you know, might be out of control. But some kids just come with that type of behavior because they can't distinguish outside of school and in school. And being as though that they might be more disciplined in school is why they get in trouble, because at home it's really no discipline. And I think that I appreciate it that you realize that, you know, being a sixth grade teacher, because I really believe that, you know, in those from the sixth grade on down before you get into like real middle school or that, you know, real teenage age, I think that those years are very important in children. You know, they pick up habits. I mean, they pick up friends. You know, they pick up all kinds of stuff around those ages from, you know, 4th to 6th grade. You kind of can see, well, she might be bad as hell, or he might have a, you know, a promising future. You can kind of like see where you can mold your kids at that point in time. You know, a lot of teachers don't even, girl.
yeah.
I think a lot of teachers don't know how to deal with.
Yeah, with kids.
Now let me ask you a question, because you're not originally from Washington. You grew up in New Hampshire. So when you made that transition to DC and had teaching in the inner city schools, was it like a tough transition for you? You know, being that, you know, teaching kids that's, you know, I mean, basically teaching predominantly all black classrooms. Was it a tough transition, and did you have to work harder to gain trust from your students, or how was that?
Yeah, I think the most important piece of training that I was given when I was trained this past summer, before I started this year, brand new, was every day is a new day, and which really speaks to what Vash was saying about like being able to or teachers treating certain students a certain way. I treat them all the same way, and even if yesterday this student got in a fight or treated me awfully, like got up in my face and cussed me out, like every day is a new day. I think that's like that's probably the most important part of my training was like, and it was hard to get used to at first because I'm like, but yesterday.
I know, like, you know,
or like the student who like doesn't have their pencil like every single day because they're losing it, and I'm like, I give you a pencil every single day. But like after a while, it's just persistence, and they learn, and all students can change and excel, and it's really amazing. If you stand by that, every day is a new day, and treat them like they are treat every single student like they are a straight A student, and they did their homework last night. Like, you know, just all of us teachers, we have to check ourselves every now and then. Like, am I am I remembering what this student did last period? Like, it's a new period. Like, treat them new, because the chances just excel when they, because students can tell when you're looking at them differently. Like, I remember in the beginning of the year, there was this one student who got in trouble. So I'm like an interventionist, so I'm like extra hands in the classroom. And the student got sent to the back of the classroom, and I saw, and he had gotten in trouble probably several times in other classes that day. And so he started like writing on the desk in the back of the classroom, and he wrote bad on the desk. And I was like, okay, this is a student that knows he's been labeled as a troublemaker, you know? And I was like, I need to work extra hard to remove that from his
his mental.
And
right.
And that's a restorative strategy.
Ooh,
like,
Lord
I think
Jesus.
just giving everybody a chance and just like starting fresh.
Yeah, you know what? You know what? I got a problem with that now, because like what you said, that bad, we got to restart. We got to stop telling our kids that. You bad as shit, you know what I'm saying? Because it follows them. Then when they get to school, like, they think that this is the norm. This is the norm, that I'm supposed to be bad as shit because this is all I'm told.
Right.
So I do agree with her. If we don't change these kids' mindset, then we got a hell of a uphill battle. So definitely. So for anybody that wants to get involved in restorative justice, how could they go about getting it?
There's obviously like the structure, the restorative structure that's in the school, but we're also in the restorative trainings like trained to have a restorative mindset. So it just means you're always asking the question why. And I think anybody can be restorative, like even with their friends, like when they're in a fight, like my friend is like driving me insane, like, okay, why are they acting that way today? Like, and that's what it comes down to. So I think anybody, parents, for sure can always like use that mindset. I'm trying to think. Getting involved. There's one, I believe there's one organization right now. There's just one organization right now in DC that's helping the schools. I believe it's called Real Talk DC.
Real Talk DC.
Yeah, Real Talk DC.
But like, if anybody has kids and they're like, oh, restorative justice, I want that in my student's school, because it's only in a handful of schools and it's just getting started. And a parent that wanted to get involved, they could go into the school and talk to the teacher, talk to the principal, like try to schedule a meeting, be like, hey, listen, like check this out. Anybody can check out the Oakland Restorative Justice website. It's called ourjoyoakland.org. It's the Oakland, it's their website, and it talks about everything. So if a parent wanted to bring that to a school, I'm sure like any principal would be like, yes, and could get that rolling.
Yeah.
Somebody was really passionate about it, for sure.
Now, what if they say no? Then what?
Then we got to grit on them.
Right.
You tell us no, I'm gritting.
Right.
As a parent, I think
I'm
maybe
gritting.
she could take that question. Maybe
Yes.
Right.
I mean, if they tell us no, I kind of will be like, listen, you just come back and try it again.
Yeah.
With the different proposal on how we want to do this in the school system. I mean, it's all about helping the kids. So if they say no, then, I mean.
You ain't trying to help the kids.
Yeah, you ain't trying to help the kids.
Yeah, basically, bottom line. Do you get a lot of cooperation from your parents?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. I think every parent that I've met is like, yes, tell me about my student. They want to hear everything. Certainly. I would certainly say
Okay,
that.
that's good. That's cool. We want to definitely, anybody got any more questions for Sam?
I do have a question for Sam. Okay, and this is a quick question. Because I want to know about the disconnect. I want to touch in that so much in my own personal life when it comes down to kids. So, as you are a 6th grade teacher, do you feel like the disconnect comes from school or comes from home? With a disconnect from being a good kid and a bad kid? Do you think do the influence come from school or do you think it comes from home?
My instinct is to say both.
Okay. Right.
It's so hard because every student has their own story.
Yes.
You know, every person has their own story. And there's different levels of reinforcement. There certainly are some schools that reinforce these students like pre-existing. Like if they start at the young age getting in trouble, and then there's some like school environments that reinforce, like make that student feel like a bad student over and over again. There definitely are. That definitely exists. It depends on the school environment. They're all really different.
I'm happy that you said both.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's both too. You know, I feel like you can be, you know, you might be influenced a little bit at home and then you might get to school and be influenced and that's how you know, make your decision. Or you can just be your own person, but most kids at that age is just, you know, they just got everything going on. My son told the doctor the other day, they asked him when he wanted to be, when he grew up, he told them the first thing was a pastor, then the second thing was a pop star. So I know that at that age, they're trying to find themselves.
That's good.
You know?
Try everything.
Yeah,
Try
And I told him, I said, you be whatever you want to be. So... Well, I want to say thank you for Sam coming out.
Shout out to Sam, y'all, for
yes,
coming up here, man.
So much. It was, you know, so mellow.
Come on.
Yeah.
Like seeing you guys, I'm such a fan.
I'm just going to have Sam one time with just me behind the chair.
Shout out. See, look, we even got white fans.
Shout out to Sam.
Bringing him back.
Nah, but look, we appreciate all y'all for tuning in this weekend. I appreciate everybody that's on our live feed.
Right.
Appreciate everybody that tunes in and watch us on listenvisionlive.com. And you can go to the Listen Vision YouTube site and type in Heart of the City and you'll find our reruns. We got reruns now, y'all. So
yeah, we heavy now. We got episodes, man.
We
Come check us out.
We doing things. Bringing some real important people on here. We appreciate Miss Howard once again for coming on our show tonight.
Right on.
Shout out to my man Breezy.
Right on.
Yes, Breezy.
My right hand sitting to my left. This is my left, right? I'm retarded. But yeah, Miss Trashy Vashy.
Hey.
Shout out
Miss
to my
Vash.
man Jacob.
Yeah.
Who turned my music off and I had to hear how retarded I was. Shout out to my man Corey Neal. My man Wiley coming up next with the Dank and Paint show. Shout out to Sonny. We appreciate you. Shout out to She Richie for tuning in. My man Wayne. And whoever else I read you.
Shout out to Coon. That's my guy.
Yeah, so appreciate all y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for another good night at Heart of the City Radio.
Hey, man, shout out. Hold on. I told him I was going to do this. Shout outs to my barber Jigger.
Shout out to my man
333
Jigger.
Changing Faces, Hawaii Avenue.
Bye, Jigger.
Shout out to my man Jay.
Bye, Jigger.
One of my good friends for 25
I had
years.
to say, who is Jigger?
Yes, indeed. And I am. It don't even matter because we out of here.
Straight like that.
Later.
Peace out.